Everyone, welcome to this Fox 9 News special. Heart disease is a serious issue for many people, but especially for us women.
1 in 3 American women will die of heart disease, and 90% of us have one risk or more factors of developing heart disease, and that's why we're encouraging everyone to go red. February is American Heart Month, and it's next Friday is National Wear Red Day.
Beyond that, there's a lot more you can do to help improve everyone's heart health. Here with more is our Alex Kendall.
Well, we've learned just how important the Go Red for Women program is, and the impact of the program can actually go much further than you might realize. I know I've learned a lot. Here to talk more about it is the co-chair of Go Red Twin Cities, Rachel Ellingson. Nice to have you here.
Thank you so
You're
much.
The chair, actually. I want to make sure we get the right title here. Okay, first off, for people that may be unaware of what Go Red is, why don't you describe what the program and the organization is all about?
Sure. Go Red for Women is really the American Heart Association solution for saving women's lives. It's about helping women make smart, simple, heart-healthy choices and turning those into life-saving actions.
I was at the luncheon, as you were, earlier this week, and we know that a lot of money was raised. So, for instance, how much money were you hoping for, and what does that money go toward?
Sure. So, I'm incredibly grateful for this week's luncheon because we raised $575,000, and that money goes to research, raising awareness of the Go Red effort. Nationally, we've actually raised $325 million since Go Red started, and that's nearly $5 million here in the Twin Cities that's been raised. So all of that is going to research that really helps us better understand women's unique health issues when it comes to heart disease.
What kind of advancements have been made in heart disease? I know, for instance, when I was sitting there listening to the stories of women, a lot of younger women had heart disease, and maybe not people you typically might connect with heart disease. How are they being helped, for instance, with the Go Red campaign?
Well, actually, I mean, it's a great point because I think people still view heart disease as something that happens to older people, and as you mentioned, clearly it can hit you at any age. And so I think a lot of the advancements really have been about making people realize that the symptoms are different. So everyone thinks about something on your chest, like an elephant sitting on your chest or something like that. But in women, they actually present differently. They can have shortness of breath, they can have jaw pain, back pain. So it's about knowing yourself, knowing your health, and becoming your own advocate, which you heard those stories of those women. I mean, that's really what they did.
We know that there's still plenty of work yet to be done. So why don't you tell us what areas do we need more research, more money?
Yeah. I think the biggest thing is really getting the word out. Heart disease is still the #1 killer of women. And anytime I say that to people at parties, or I'm a great hit at parties, but when we talk about those things, people are surprised. They still think it's some other disease. So I think it's about raising awareness and helping women recognize that they can make a huge impact on their own heart health by taking these simple making these heart healthy decisions. So I think it's, eating healthier, exercising more, going to see your doctor every year, getting your cholesterol checked. Now, I found that out personally when I had high cholesterol. And so now I work with my doctor to better manage my own risk factors. And I think the more we can do that, the more we can get that word out, the more of an impact we can continue to have with Go Red.
I'm not saying we didn't have this conversation 10 or 15 years ago, but I mean, now it's something that women actually discuss their cholesterol and, heart disease in their family, where before we always talked about it in terms of something my grandfather or my father had. So already, just the dialogue, the being aware of it is much greater.
Yeah, I agree. It's so exciting when you think about the statistics, like 625,000 fewer women dying from heart disease, which is 330 fewer women dying every day since Go Red launched. Clearly the message is getting out and women are making better, smarter decisions, but there's still a lot of work to do.
There certainly is. Well, we'll leave it on that note. Rachel Ellingson, Twin Cities chair for Go Red. Thank you so much for joining us today and talking about an issue that's very close to your heart too.
Thank you so much.
All right, next we got a story about a young girl, seemingly healthy here, who all of a sudden finds herself on the fast track to a failing heart. She fortunately kept searching for a lot of answers and just would not let her doctors turn her away.
Dawn Stevens introduces us to a remarkable young woman.
This is fun to look at these old pictures.
At a very young age, doctors told Mandy Bradley she had a hole in her heart. But it closed, and she lived a normal childhood with her sister, mom, and dad.
I was in dance for like 9 years. I played softball, volleyball. I was very active.
Yeah, you remember?
Until her early 20s. After having a cough for 2 months, she finally got it checked out and was misdiagnosed with pneumonia.
Little did I know how serious it was going to be.
Persistent and looking for answers, Mandy ended up at a cardiologist who saw her enlarged heart and took an echo.
A cardiologist came in and he said, you know, I'm really sorry to tell you this, but it's not pneumonia. And he explained it was my heart. And at that point in time, it was only working at about a 25%, so it was extremely weak. Needless to say, we were all really, really shocked. That was the last thing we thought we were going to hear.
Mandy started taking medications, and doctors discovered she had a form of cardiomyopathy and a rare genetic heart disorder called Danon disease. After several months, Mandy kept getting weaker. The meds weren't working, so doctors made the first cut into her chest and implanted a defibrillator. It wouldn't be long before it was put to work.
And I remember about an hour after taking the antibiotics, I just got really sick, and the defibrillator sent 3 shocks to my heart, and it hurt like crazy.
She insisted on coming into the hospital, and thank goodness she did, because her world unraveled quickly. She went into septic shock.
They brought me down to the ICU, and the last thing that I remember is a nurse telling me, whatever you do, keep your eyes open. I remember looking at my dad, and I could just see like the tears in his eyes.
Her grandmother and I were in the room, and we were just couldn't believe it. She walked in the emergency room, and now she's on the verge of dying. And
Mandy's old heart was just too weak, and doctors put her on the list for a new one. When it typically takes 1 to 2 years to get a heart, Mandy had hers in just 12 days.
I definitely think it was a miracle.
She clutches her heart pillow, thankful for all those who signed it and helped give her new life.
And I could feel blood flowing throughout my fingers, and I had warm hands for the first time in my life.
After the surgery, doctors told her how fortunate she was and how her persistence paid off. She was able to walk out of the hospital and be back home to live a healthier life with her family.
But we didn't realize how sick I was. I was going to get a heart, or I was going to pass away within 4 days. So I'm very, very lucky to be here.
Mandy says looking back, the hole in her heart as a child and being short of breath were signs of her rare heart disorder. There's no family history of heart disease, but going forward, she could pass it to her children and will have to be aware of that. Now, she reminds women if they believe something is wrong, look into it and be persistent about getting some answers if something doesn't quite feel right. If you're looking to learn more about if you're potentially at risk and if you want to help fight heart disease, stop by the Mall of America Saturday for a free Go Red health fair. Tim?
Well, a heart issue usually doesn't just happen out of the blue. Coming up, we're going to learn more about the symptoms all women should be on the lookout for when this Fox 9 Go Red special continues.
I'm Stephanie, and I go red because I am a transplant patient and I'm a survivor. And in 2009, I had a stroke.
My mom actually has mild heart disease, so heart disease does run in my family, and I'm fighting against all these genetics.
And we forget to take care of ourselves, and you can't take care of everyone else unless you take care of yourself.
Welcome back. Those are just some of the women who survived close calls and have made it their mission to help other women fight heart disease. So many people have had their lives drastically changed by the disease.
Alex Kendall introduces us to one survivor who's now sharing her story, hoping that it will help others.
Heart disease affects so many of us, which is what makes Go Red for Women so important. Joining us now is a woman who knows firsthand just how important good heart health is, and that's Angie Smith. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Tell us your personal story. How did you get involved with Go Red?
Right. About 10 years ago, I was diagnosed with heart failure at the age of 25.
That's young.
That is very young and very scary. And was told even at that time, the heart was severely damaged. So.
And how was your heart damaged?
It was due to a virus. Whether it was a cold, a sinus infection, or the flu, we just don't know. Even though I felt better, the virus itself was attacking the heart. So sent my heart into failure, and it became enlarged and just doesn't function very well.
So after you were diagnosed then with heart failure, what happened from there? Take us through that process.
Yep. I was told even in 2004 that I would need a new heart. Because I was 25, I was perfectly healthy leading up to that. They just didn't know when. So we started new medicine. We started that low sodium diet, and just moved on with life. I did have a pacemaker defibrillator implanted, and it was doing most of the work. My heart just couldn't even function anymore. So it was very scary, because even at night, I would go to bed wondering, am I going to wake up tomorrow? Because my heart would have just stopped. It wasn't, I was going to have a heart attack or anything like that. It just would have stopped.
It just would have stopped.
Yeah.
And how has this altered your life? I mean, knowing is probably good, because there was probably a long period of time between when you were trying to figure out what was wrong with you and then you were told this is what happened with your heart.
So, you know, it was very difficult to handle at first, but the more and more I talk about it and share my story, it's actually therapeutical.
So you take part in a lot of the Go Red events.
I do.
Tell us, what is your favorite event?
My favorite is the fashion show. To see all the schools that we have come out and design outfits for Go Red, it's just amazing, from, you know, a nightgown or night type dress to, you know, a bathing suit even. We've seen ones. So it's really fun to see them design these dresses.
When it comes to heart health, I mean, we've learned a little bit about your personal story. What is the message that you like to put out there for other women and their hearts?
Definitely. You know, do the low sodium diet. I mean, that's huge, but, you know, do the exercise, go to your doctors. You know, it's one blood test, your cholesterol. That's huge. It's a simple tube of blood, can save your life. So definitely take care of yourself. Our symptoms are definitely different than men's. So that's the hard part.
So you want to just pay attention to your heart.
Listen to your body.
Health. And
yes.
you said you knew, so you got to listen.
Right.
To
yep. So if your regular doctor isn't listening, get a second opinion.
That's a great message to leave on. All right. Well,
yes.
Angie, thank you so much for coming on today and talking about your story.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Well, being heart healthy involves both living well and being aware of the risks and other warning signs, too.
Randy Myers spoke to one doctor to get some advice on both.
When it comes to your heart health, it's important not to just eat right and exercise, but understand the potential factors that could raise your risk of trouble. Here to talk more about that is Dr. Cynthia Brendan, a cardiologist at Regions Hospital. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
This is a very important topic, as you know, and we're really talking about, when you're talking about heart health and heart issues, you're talking about genetics that can affect that. You're talking about lifestyle that can affect that. And we're primarily dealing with women here. This is the topic. What are the biggest causes of heart disease in women today?
Well, like you said, there can be a genetic component to heart disease, but that's the part that you don't have any control over.
Right.
There are a number of risk factors for heart disease that you do potentially have control over. High blood pressure, diabetes, smoking, high cholesterol. Those are all risk factors for the development of heart disease.
Now, people, when they get to a certain point in their life, I think we sort of have a sensory device and go, gosh, I wonder, what are some of the symptoms? What are some of the things that we should look for out there, that women who may be watching this should look for in terms of symptoms in their daily lives?
Some of the classic symptoms are a feeling of chest pressure, like someone is sitting on your chest or an elephant sitting on your chest, comes on with activity, goes away with rest. You can feel short of breath, lightheaded. You can have symptoms radiated into your arm. Women can have those symptoms, but we do know that women also have a broader spectrum of symptoms than men do. They may have shortness of breath without any chest pain. They may have flu-like symptoms where they feel nauseated, they feel sweaty, they can have heart palpitations. A whole host of symptoms can represent coronary disease in women.
Now, I think a lot of people still, we talk about this each and every year at this time and other times, they don't fully understand how many women are affected by heart disease. It is really one of the number 1 or 2 killers of women today, right?
It is the leading cause of death in women.
That's
yes.
amazing. So are those numbers going up or down?
We're getting better and better at diagnosing heart disease in women. And through big efforts through the American Heart Association, the Go Red for Women campaign, more women are becoming aware that it is actually the leading cause of death. And so they're coming to their doctors and asking more questions, which is good.
What is you know, people watch this and they go, okay, that's fine, I can exercise. Are there certain things that you could be telling us that in general we should we should do in our daily lives for good heart health?
Absolutely. First of all, if you smoke, stop. That would be my #1 piece of advice. And you need to incorporate diet and exercise into your daily regimen. And for women in particular, that's very hard. They're busy being the caregivers to all of their family, and they tend to focus on themselves last. But they really need to spend time making sure that they're getting regular exercise, even 10 minutes a day to start, and then gradually building up from there. And then watching what you eat, making sure that you're getting a heart-healthy diet rich in fruits, vegetables, lean proteins, high fiber. All those things can go a long way in terms of reducing your risk.
Is there an age, doctor, at which women should start to become more aware of their heart?
I think you need to be vigilant of your heart health at all ages, particularly if you have a family history, that genetic piece that we talked about that you don't have control over. If you have a first-degree relative, a mother, father, brother, or sister who's been diagnosed with heart disease at an early age, being under 65 for women, under 55 for men, you need to be vigilant throughout your life.
All right, all good advice. Dr. Cynthia Brendan, cardiologist at Regions. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
All right, so ladies, are you wondering what you can do to live a more heart-healthy life? Well, coming up, find out what the best foods are for your heart. But first, even your favorite Lego characters are going red. The makers of the new Lego Movie created this PSA promoting good heart health.
Hey everybody! Heart disease affects 1 in every 3 women in America, but you can fight back. There's no time to lose. Mothers, sisters, daughters, families, and friends, it's time to shout louder, stand stronger, and demand change. Let's go!
To the Batmobile! Dang it.
To the invisible jet! Dang it. Together, we can put an end to heart disease. It's time to go red for women. I could use your help. Yeah! Learn more from the American Heart Association at www.goredforwomen.org.
Welcome back to this Fox 9 Go Red special for women. We've heard a lot about how the keys to good heart health are eating healthy and exercising. But many women are probably a little uncertain of the best way to go about doing both.
So here to point you in the right direction now are Fox 9's Tom Butler and our medical expert, Dr. Arkell George.
Having good heart health is sometimes as easy as eating well and getting enough exercise. Easier said than done in some cases, but not necessarily. Joining us to talk about that and more is Fox 9's medical expert, Dr. Arkell George. Hi, doctor.
Hi.
Always great to see you.
Thank you.
What are some of the best heart-healthy foods that are out there?
Well, you know, we're always looking for heart-healthy foods, but there's no magic food that's going to do it for us. So, you know, the thing to remember is to get back to basics, and it's important to eat whole grains, low amount of red meat, low-fat, low-sugar diet. With lots of fruits and vegetables. And, you know, I know that people have heard that before, so let me just say it in another way that might be helpful. Have whole nut processed foods, have high fiber, low salt, and the most important thing is have foods that you make for yourself, not those that are made for you.
Right. And we are big fish eaters in our house, too. We know that there are some good benefits from eating fish in your diet.
Fatty fish like salmon, mackerel, halibut are really good for you because of the omega-3 fatty acids. And I'll tell you that, you know, shellfish has gotten a little bit of a bad rap because it does have cholesterol, but it replaces red meat and it's low fat.
Yeah. And how about overall calories when we think about a target that women should be at for their caloric intake during any given day?
You know, when I was in medical school, we didn't have online calculators, so we would take your ideal body weight and multiply it times a factor to tell you how many calories you should eat, but we don't have to do that anymore. So you can go on the internet, find any calculator that will take your ideal body weight, it'll calculate it for you. But here's the bottom line. The bottom line is that you want to have a body mass index less than 25. And I know a lot of people think that that's not an accurate measure, but for most people, it does accurately reflect how much fat is in your body, which is a risk factor for heart disease.
We know diet is important. We know exercise is important. How much exercise should women be getting during their day?
Well, the national guidelines say that we should all be exercising about 150 minutes a week. We all have different lifestyles, so you can break that apart in any way that works for you. So you could say 30 minutes 5 times a week is an average.
If you have young children running around the house chasing after a 3-year-old, that counts sometimes.
Oh, absolutely. And there are so many daily activities that count toward that as well. So I always try to make a point when it's not so cold to park in the parking spot that's furthest away from the mall, for example, to get some steps in.
Right. We all know, too, that it can be tough to maintain a healthy lifestyle. It's sometimes you get off the track a little bit. What are the best tips in avoiding some of those temptations that are out there? Or is total abstinence not a way to go?
Well, you know, I'm going to start by saying that balance is the most important thing, that we're not going to be perfect all of the time, so it's being perfect some of the time. And over the course of time, we hope that that will give us a long and healthy and high-quality life. But I'm going to give one suggestion that people don't think about often enough for how to live a healthy lifestyle, and that's to make sure that you get enough sleep. I think we underestimate the value of sleep in allowing our bodies to regenerate, but also when you have enough sleep, you're less hungry, and it also allows you to focus on exercise, having a healthy diet, etc. So I'd say sleep is where it's at.
And my girls would say I'm less grumpy when I get my rest.
You probably are.
Thanks so much, Dr.
Thank you.
Arkell George.
Well, remember, February is Go Red Month, and there are plenty of ways both men and women can show their commitment to better heart health. Tomorrow, February 1st, is Go Red at the Mall of America. There will be a Go Red fashion show, CPR training, and lessons on family fitness. Plus, it's all free. Also, next Friday, February 7th, is National Go Red Day. Wear red to raise awareness and show your support for better heart health. Then Saturday, February 15th, will be the Red Dress Collection Fashion Show at Graves 601, with all the proceeds going to Go Red for Women. You can find information on everything you've seen. Go to myfox9.com or goredforwomen.org. Thanks so much for joining us for this Fox 9 special. Here's to better heart health for everyone in 2014.